It has been a roller coaster with this player. I mean, last offseason, I'll be the first person to admit I whiffed on him big time. I mean, you could literally get this running back for a third-round rookie pick, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to pass. What the hell was I thinking? What the hell was I doing taking David Bell in the third round of rookie drafts instead of going and getting someone who has some actual upside? Now, it's been a roller coaster because he's skyrocketed up to being the running back 8, according to Keep Trade Cut in the middle of last year. We were screaming to sell then. His value has plummeted. But like I said, I can't really victory lap because we could have bought the man for a third round rookie pick. And now I'm going to be trading for him for a much higher price tag. But before we get into this video, you better be going down there, dropping a like on this. You better be subscribed to the channel if you play Dynasty Fantasy Football. And I have a little sneak peek for y'all over here. I don't know if you can see that. We're not going to show any more than that right there. But all I have to say is, if you are wanting a special little gift flying your way, you better be a member of FlockFantasy.com. You better have signed up for Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK. Of course, it's never too late. You can find the links in the description. When you sign up to FlockFantasy.com with promo code FLOCK, you're going to get all my Dynasty rankings. I actually wrote this as an article on FlockFantasy.com a while back. You're going to get my exclusive Dynasty rankings as well as all the exclusive content for your favorite Dynasty creators. Plus, 30% off any subscription and a podcast breaking down your Dynasty team from yours truly with code FLOCK and that Mother Flocker package. But I think that should be about it. Let's go ahead and let's talk about why Dameon Pierce is now someone that I am buying in Dynasty Fantasy Football. And yes, before we get into anything, I know what you're going to say. Well, Mason, you clown, you were making videos saying to go through and sell him back in December. How the hell are we buying him in April? The reason is he was the running back 8 on Keep Trade Cut in December. Right now, his value has fallen a considerable amount. He's the running back 18 as of today. Obviously, Devin Singletary going over to Houston. At the end of this, we'll talk about exactly why I think Devin Singletary going to Houston is the perfect thing for Dameon Pierce. But before we get into what he did his rookie season and how special it was, I do want to outline how I missed on Dameon Pierce as a prospect. Because if this is something that I am not doing, you should honestly stop listening to me, right? If I am unwilling to go through and say, I got this wrong, how did I get this wrong, and what can I do to be better going forward? You should unsubscribe to the channel at that time, because at that point, I'm going to be a bad Dynasty player myself, and I'm not going to be able to help anybody. So I want to go through, I want to try to learn from the mistake that we made last offseason when people were telling me in the comment section that I should go through and draft Dameon Pierce in the third round of rookie drafts, and I was ignoring them. So y'all know our rookie running back process highlights 4 primary boxes at the running back position. We are going to be looking at draft capital, number 1, honestly, at running back, because draft capital is going to indicate job security, rookie season volume, and it's going to give running backs the chance to fail or succeed. Now, of course, draft capital doesn't guarantee that they are going to succeed when they get that volume, but if you're a first-round draft pick, aka Najee Harris, you're going to get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, even if you're not looking great with that opportunity. So from a fantasy football standpoint, in my mind at running back, and we've proven this historically, draft capital is the most predictive factor of fantasy football success. But clearly it's not as easy as just drafting the running backs in the order they go in the NFL draft, or we wouldn't have anything to talk about here. There are a couple other key boxes that we are looking at. The second, third biggest things, I mean, all of these are about the same in level of importance. We are going to be looking at the size of the running back, aka can he be a 3-down running back? Can he go out there and handle 20 touches a game? Or is he Devin Achane and he's going to be extremely limited, and at most he's going to be a gadget player at the next level? We are going to be looking at the speed of the running back. Now, it really doesn't matter too much if a running back runs a 4.45, a 4.50, or a 4.55. Really, as long as you're faster than like a 4.60, you're good. You just really have to hit that minimum threshold when it comes to your speed and receiving down skill set. we are going to specifically be looking at college target share, as that has been highly predictive of fantasy relevance in the receiving department at the NFL level. So those are the 4 big boxes we are looking at the running back position for these prospects. Draft capital, we have a minimum threshold, and we've had a hard cap of getting running backs that are inside the top 100 draft picks, right? We want our running backs being at least selected by the end of day 2. If you're a first, second, or third round pick, in my mind, if you succeed when you get opportunity, the team historically has been willing to lean with you, and they are not quick to replace you, as we've seen with those day 3 guys. Now, this has been the number one thing looking back that I think I was too stubborn about with Dameon Pierce, because Dameon Pierce did not meet that threshold. Dameon Pierce was not selected on day 2 of the NFL draft. Instead, he fell to day 3. And in my mind, this is the primary reason that we missed on Dameon Pierce. Should we have been all out on Dameon Pierce because he fell to day 3 of the NFL draft? In reality, probably not. Because, of course, when we're looking at historical data, inherently, running backs used to go higher in the NFL draft than they do today. NFL teams used to care more about the running back position, and it used to be less replaceable in the eyes of NFL general managers back 10 years ago compared to where they look at it today. So our historical minimum thresholds that we are looking at may not be as relevant today, and they may need to be scaled back just a bit. I mean, going back to what we were looking at with Bijan Robinson in this year's rookie class, if Bijan Robinson came into the NFL 10 years ago, he'd probably be a lock as a top 10 NFL draft pick. And now a lot of people are saying, okay, maybe it goes mid-round 1, late round 1, but obviously it's because the NFL values these running backs differently. So if we were looking at Dameon Pierce, yes, he fell outside the top 3 rounds, but he goes as the second player in the 4th round of the NFL draft. Yes, it is right outside our minimum threshold, but if it's that close, should I be that stubborn? 6th round pick, completely different story, of course. But if you're the second pick, if you would have been selected 10 picks earlier in the NFL draft, you would have hit our minimum threshold. Should we make that big of a deal out of it? Probably not, and I think this is the mistake we made looking back on it, because we go over, his size was phenomenal. The man's 5'10", 224, BMI of 32. If you have a BMI of 32, you can handle a 3-down workload. I mean, he's not necessarily the best athlete in the world, but he's fast enough. Going back to what we were talking about, 4.55, 4.50, it's about the same thing. We just don't want to see you go out there and be Isaiah Spiller level slow. And he runs a 4.59. So like we said, he's not necessarily fast, but he's fast enough. And if we were looking at his size, I mean, it's, if anything, kind of impressive. His receiving upside, this is where I think we also were a little too stubborn, because he doesn't get there with this college target share. But if we go back to how Dameon Pierce was used at Florida, Dameon Pierce was always in a committee. They never decided to use him as the actual starting running back for the Florida Gators. And if that would have been the case, the college target share probably would have been a little bit different. And of course, I can't say, okay, well, we should have 100% knew he could have catched the ball. In reality, it's not that simple, but I do think we need to be looking more so into the context of these things and be a little bit more flexible going forward. So going forward, someone like Roschon Johnson, I shouldn't just go through and scratch him off our board and saying he can't catch passes because his college target share wasn't 8.5%, because of course he was playing behind Bijan Robinson. So we should use that context, and we should be willing to slide those minimum thresholds on the major boxes we are looking at. So looking back with Dameon Pierce, I think my biggest mistake with Pierce as a prospect was I was too stubborn overall to the minimum thresholds, and I was not willing to be flexible. I think, of course, we should not break our mold entirely, but I think we should identify some great traits and understand the context of each prospect so we can be a little bit flexible here. That way we don't miss on the next Dameon Pierce this next time around. So looking back, I don't think Dameon Pierce was a great prospect, but better than I gave him credit for. And his rookie season was great. Dameon Pierce goes out, averages about 17 carries a game, 3 targets a game. I mean, over 70 rushing yards, over 12 receiving yards on a per game basis. And if we go through and look at every running back to do this since 2005 as a rookie, it's an incredibly impressive list. You have Dameon Pierce, Najee Harris, James Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook, Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, Jordan Howard, Doug Martin, Chris Johnson, Steve Slayton, and Matt Forte. Now, there is one big red flag on this list, and this is what we were saying when he was the running back 8 in Dynasty leagues, and this is what we were saying when we were screaming to sell, is that historically, running backs that don't have the NFL draft capital are not given the job security by their teams. You're looking at someone like James Robinson on that list who crushes as a rookie, and they go out there and they take Travis Etienne in the first round of the next year's NFL draft. So that's what we were screaming from the rooftops, but I feel like everybody knows that now. I feel like that's at this point priced into Dameon Pierce with where he's currently being traded in Dynasty leagues. And just to illustrate that this is scary, and this is 100% a red flag that I've been screaming for years, and I still stand by this, and we should take it into account when trading for Dameon Pierce, is if we are looking at that entire list of running backs and only looking at the guys that go at pick 100 or after, Dameon Pierce, James Robinson, and Jordan Howard. So it does illustrate the fact that, yeah, it is scary if you're that running back that doesn't have the NFL draft capital. You are quick to be replaced. Now, it's not a guarantee. And if anything, I am less worried about Dameon Pierce being replaced today as I was back in December. Because if we get in that time machine, if we go back to December, January, when Dameon Pierce is the running back 8 overall in Dynasty, and we're screaming sell. The depth chart for the Houston Texans, you have Dameon Pierce and Dare Ungabawale. I still can't pronounce his name. We've been trying for years, but that's it. So the Houston Texans have a main question centered around them. It's who are we bringing into this running back room? It's not, are we bringing a running back in? You have to. It's the same thing as if you're sitting there and looking at your middle linebacker, right? Even if you have someone that you're really excited about as your number 1 overall guy, if you have nobody behind him, yeah, you have to go out there. You have to invest into the position. You have to at least bring in some depth with that roster. So the main concern that I had with Dameon Pierce is if you looked at that profile, this is a running back that fits the mold of someone that NFL teams have been quick to replace, and this is a team that needs to invest into the running back position. The question is, do they invest into a new starter and slide Dameon Pierce down to being the running back 2, or do they invest into the running back 2 position, the running back 3 position, and submit Dameon Pierce as the starter on this roster? And of course, we haven't had the NFL draft yet. The NFL draft still may change some things, but I am more confident about Dameon Pierce now that they go out there and instead of bringing in that starter, they backfill. They bring in a running back 2. They bring in a running back 3. They signed Devin Singletary to be the running back 2 here. They signed Mike Boone to be the running back 3. So in my mind, given the fact that they solved their running back depth issue, I am less concerned about them getting someone that you actually needed to be scared about in the NFL draft this season. I'm less concerned about them going and drafting Bijan Robinson, them drafting Jahmyr Gibbs, them drafting Zach Charbonnet. Those are the 3 names that I think could have the possibility of going in there and starting over Dameon Pierce. Trust me, if they didn't sign anybody in free agency and they were going into the NFL draft with just Dameon Pierce and that's it, I would be worried. But what actually happened is when Devin Singletary signed to the Houston Texans, my initial reaction is, okay, this is good. This gives more security to Dameon Pierce. I'm going to move Dameon Pierce up my rankings. The Dynasty community did something else. They said this is bad. They said now he has competition, and they are moving him down. I don't understand the thought process there. I don't understand what people expected the Houston Texans to do this next season. I'm going through, I'm trading for Dameon Pierce. And if anything, I'm doing it before the NFL draft, before people realize, oh crap, Houston's going to be better with Bryce Young, Quentin Johnston in this offense. And Dameon Pierce looks to be the cemented starter as the RB1 going into year 2 for a young, improving team. Now, I think that's all we have for you in this video. Of course, If you enjoyed it, please go down there, drop a like, subscribe if you play Dynasty. And if you want to get my Dynasty rankings, if you want to get the Dynasty rankings of all your favorite content creators, all of our exclusive content as well, if you want to possibly be looking at something like this on your chest, then I'd definitely recommend you going and checking out flockfantasy.com with the link in the description, the link in the comment section. Use promo code FLOCK, and that way you'll get a podcast breaking down your Dynasty team by yours truly and 30% off any package. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate you, and I really hope you have a great day.